We continue now at the top of Daf Samacham and Beis Meseches Yoma. This is Yoma Daf 60b. On the previous Yoma, there was a machlokus between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia, which part of the avodas of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, if you do them out of order, it's a problem. And the Gemara here now explains the machlokus. Rabbi Yehuda holds, Makom shemeschapern bo pamachas b'shana. What the pasuk means to say is the area which you only enter one time of the year, only avodos in that area. If you do it out of order, it's a problem. Otherwise, not a problem. Rashi over here says, Rabbi Yehuda savar amakom shekaparoso achas b'shana ksiva chuka. The word chok in the pasuk goes on the area where you only go there once a year, meaning the Kodesh Kadashim, aval ha'hechol va'azaros, but any avodah that's done in the hechol or the azaros, afilu dvarim hanasim b'big day love, and even if it's done in the linen garments, she'ein kaparasan b'kohen gadol la'achas b'shana. Of course, the Kohen Gadol only wears those garments once a year, but lo ksiva chukah, doesn't say chukah there. It's only going on the avodah that's done in the Kodesh Kadashim. Again, Rabbi Yehuda says only that avodah cannot be done out of order. Rabbi Nechemia holds, no, devarim hamischaper ben pamachas b'shana. It means anything that you do once a year, as Rashi says, beina makom, beina begadim, whether it goes on the place, meaning the Kodesh Kadashim, or anything even outside the Kodesh Kadashim. If you're wearing the big day love and you do that out of order, that's going to be a problem, according to Rabbi Nechemia. Gemara says, according to this explanation, atul Rabbi Yehuda makom ksiv. How could you give this explanation? There's nothing in this pasuk that says the word makom. It just says achas b'shana. So it seems that Rabbi Nechemia would be correct, understanding the pasuk in that fashion. So the Gemara is going to have to give another explanation for Rabbi Yehuda. Elahainu taimid Rabbi Yehuda. Rather, the real reason of Rabbi Yehuda why he says only the avodah and the Kodesh Kadashim needs to be in the proper order, because ksiv zos uksiv achas. The pasuk says zos. The pasuk says achas. Chad lemuute big day loven mi v'chutz. One of those psukim is an exclusion, saying that in any avoda in the linen garments outside the Kodesh Kadashim is excluded. It can be done out of order. The chad lemuute big day zav, and the other ones to say any avoda you do in the big day zav, that also, if it's done out of order, it's not going to be a problem. That's how Rabbi Yehuda understands the exclusions. Rabbi Nechemia says no, chad lemuute big day zav. One, I agree with you, it excludes big day zav. You do any of those out of order, that's not going to be a problem. V'chad lemuute shirayim delom akvi. The other one is to exclude shirayim, which is pouring out any of the remaining blood. You're supposed to pour it out at the base of the outer mizbeach. So that also, if you do that out of order, it's not going to be a problem. As Rashi over here says, lemuute shirayim shvicha shirayim delom ma'akvi davar hamu'ucher lahem im hikdimu lahem. Let's say something that was supposed to go after the pouring out of the leftover blood, and you did that earlier, that's not going to be a problem. V'afapi shehein nasin b'big day love. Now, even though that's done in the linen garments, ein sidron ma'akev, the order is not ma'akev when it comes to the shirayim. So Rabbi Nechemia uses the pasuk to exclude shirayim. So therefore, since he uses the pasuk to exclude shirayim, he does not have it available to exclude the big day love and mibachutz. That's why Rabbi Nechemia says, when you have an avoda with the big day love and mibachutz, if it's done out of order, it is going to be a problem, according to Rabbi Nechemia. The Gemara continues with Rabbi Yehuda. Now, according to Rabbi Yehuda, where does he have a pasuk to exclude the shirayim, to say shirayim is not ma'akev? So the Gemara answers very simply, Ima akvi ma'akvi. If when it comes to avodas that are done in big day love and mibachutz, if the order is ma'akev, the same is true by shirayim. It's treated no different. V'lo ma'akvi, lo ma'akvi. And if those kind of avodas are not ma'akev, meaning the order is not important, then it's going to be the same by shirayim. You don't need an additional pasuk. In other words, by shirayim, once you have a pasuk for big day love and mibachutz, shirayim is treated the same as any other avoda in the big day love and mibachutz. As Rashi says, for Rabbi Yehuda, ima'akvi shar devarim hanasim b'big day love and mibachutz b'chesidron ma'akvi av shirayim b'chesidron. If other avodas that are done in the linen garments outside the Kodesh Kadashim, you have to do it in order. Same is true by shirayim. V'lo ma'akvi shar devarim hanasim b'big day love and lo ma'akvi hani. Same the other way around. If you're not going to say it's ma'akev the order by things that are done big day love and mibachutz, the same is going to be true by shirayim. Di'inu nami avoda ha'ma'akeves kapari. The point over here is that pouring out the remainder of the blood, the shirayim, that is an avoda that's ma'akev. Why should you see fit that it has to have a separate exclusion? It's going to be included with all the other avodas of the big day love and mibachutz. And the Gemara continues, Kidatanya, as we learned in a Bryce, and Rashi over here explains, Kidatanya del Rabbi Yehuda shirayim ma'akvi kapara kishar hamatonos iyakar lulagamri. We're going to see in this Bryce that Rabbi Yehuda holds the pouring out of the remainder of the blood of the shirayim is the same as any other avodah. If you don't do it, it's a problem just like not doing any other part of the avodah. If it's akar lagamri, not talking about the order here, just not doing doing it at all, it's going to be a problem like any other avoda. Hilkach ichuka ashara ksiva adidunami ksiva. And that's why Rabbi Yehuda says if the word chuka is going on other avodas that are done b'big day lavan mibachutz, that's going to include the shirayim as well. That's no different, according to Rabbi Yehuda, than any other avoda in the big day lavan mibachutz. And that's clear in this brisa that the shirayim is an avoda that's ma'akev like any other. Like the brisa says, v'chila mikaperes hakodesh. It says he's going to be finishing up with the atonement. And we darshan im kiper kila. Lo keeper, lo kila. If you have an atonement, it means you finish the avoda. If you don't have an atonement, you didn't finish the avoda. Divrei Rabbi Akiva. That's what Rabbi Akiva says. The Gemara will explain this. Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says to Rabbi Akiva, Mimnei malo nemar im kila keeper vim lo kila lo keeper. Why doesn't it say that if you finish there's a kapara? If you don't finish there's no kapara. Shem chisar achas min hamatanos lo asav lo klum. It means to say that if you leave out something, you haven't done anything. And Rashi over here says, Mimnei malo nemar mima akev al yadenu shelo nidrosh beloshen zeh im kila keeper vim lo kila lo keeper. What's holding us back from making the drush as follows? That if you finish the avoda, then there's a kapara. If not, there's not a kapara. And the Gemara now continues, what's going on over here? What's the discussion between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda? V'amrinon, we say on this brisa, my beinayu, what exactly are they arguing about? Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, it's a machlokas between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Chad Amar mashmos darshanika beinayu. One says it's just a question of how to understand the pasuk. There's no practical difference, no practical machlokas between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda in this brisa. The Chad Amar, but the other opinion says no, there's a machlokas going on over here. Shirayim ma'ak v'ika beinayu. They're actually arguing about shirayim. And Rashi over here explains, Shirayim ma'akvi ika beinayu. Rabbi Akiva savar. Rabbi Akiva holds Shirayim lo ma'akvi. That Shirayim are not ma'akiv at all. V'hachi kamer. Here's what he means to say. Im kiper ikar hamatanos kala. If you do the main matanos of blood, so then you're finished with the avoda. V'afilu lo shafach Shirayim. Even if you didn't pour out the remainder of the blood, it's not a problem. In other words, the way that we're understanding the brayse is v'chila michaperes hakodesh im kiper kila. If you have a kapara, you finish the avoda. The shirayim pouring out the leftover blood is not mi'akev. Rabbi Yehuda savar mi'akvi, and Rabbi Yehuda is responding, no, it is mi'akev. Here's what Rabbi Yehuda is saying. Im kila hakol az kiper. You got to finish everything to get a kapara. Vimlo kila hakol. If you don't finish everything, ein hakapara shel matanos kapara. The kapara is not going to be a good atonement. And so that's why Rabbi Yehuda is responding, im kila keeper, you have to totally finish the avoda, including pouring out the shirayim to get a kapara. Unlike what Rabbi Akiva is saying is you don't have to do the shirayim, and you can have the kapara anyway. So that's, again, one opinion is that they're actually having a machlokas whether the shirayim is ma'akev. The first opinion is, no, it's just mashmos darshanike beinayu. Rabbi Akiva was just saying the way to understand the pasuk is when you have a kapara, you're done. When you don't have a kapara, you're not done. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, it's when you finish everything, you have a kapara. If you don't finish, you don't have a kapara. No practical machlokas, just a machlokas, how to read the pasuk. But in any case, what do you see over here? You see over here clearly that according to one opinion, Rabbi Yehuda holds that the shirayim is mi'akev. And that explains why the shirayim is treated like any other avoda that's done mibachutz, outside the Kodesh Kodashim, according to Rabbi Yehuda. And the Gemara continues, Umiyamar Rabbi Yochanan hachi, does Rabbi Yochanan really say this? Rashi over here explains, Umiyamar Rabbi Yochanan hachi del Rabbi Nechemya shirayim lo ma'akvi. It came out according to Rabbi Yochanan that according to Rabbi Nechemya, the shirayim pouring out the remaining blood is not ma'akev. That's not something that's ma'akev the kapara. To Kamrina Leil, because we said before, Shneim Mikrecha Darshu, both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemya darsh in the same pasuk in terms of determining which avodas, if you do them out of order, it's a problem. Umaskanim, what was the conclusion just now? Rabbi Nechemya Chad Lemute Shirayim Delo Ma'akvi. According to Rabbi Nechemya, one of those extra psukim is to exclude Shirayim that are not Ma'akev. Again, Rabbi Yehuda said Shirayim is Ma'akev, so therefore you treat it the same as any other avoda in the big day lavan mibachutz. And Rabbi Nechemya seems to be saying Shirayim is not Ma'akev. Problem is that Rabbi Yochanan says the exact opposite within Rabbi Nechemya. The Omer Rabbi Yochanan said a Tana that it was taught, Rabbi Nechemya Kedivrei HaOmer Shirayim Ma'akvi. Rabbi Nechemya follows the one who says that Shirayim are Ma'akiv, and to that the Gemara says Kasha, that indeed is difficult. And as Rashi over here says, V'Omer Rabbi Yochanan says Meseches Zvachim, Beperak HaShochid V'Amala B'chutz, he says in Meseches Zvachim as follows, Tana Rabbi Nechemya Kedivrei HaOmer Shirayim Ma'akvi. Rabbi Yochanan says that Rabbi Nechemya over there is following the opinion that the Shirayim are Ma'akiv. To come Rabbi Nechemya Hasam, because Rabbi Nechemya said over there in the Mishnah, Shirei Hadam Shekriven B'chutz Chayv. It was talking there about the Shirei Hadam, the Shiyarei Hadam, the remainder of the blood. Let's say instead of pouring it at the base of the Mizbeach, you bring it outside the Azar, you're Chayv in that case. Alma avoda hein b'fnim. You see, it's a real avoda to pour the shiari hadam at the yesod of the mizbeach. The korinan behuvi al pesach al moed lo yivenu v'nichras, and you get kares if you bring it bachutz. The point is, Rabbi Yochanan specifically said, according to Rabbi Nechemia, the shiari hadam is ma'akev. And again, that seems to contradict what we're saying over here. The Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Chanina says, Ketorah shechaf nekodem shchitaso shel par. Let's say the Kohen Gadol takes the handfuls of ketoras before shechting the par. Lo asav v'lo klum. What he did is nothing, meaning the fact that he did it out of order is going to be a problem. So the Gemara says, Keman de lo Rabbi Yehuda. It seems like this statement of Rabbi Chanina is not like Rabbi Yehuda. Dear Rabbi Yehuda, Amar kiksiva chuka b'dvarim hanasim b'bigdei lavim mibifnimu d'chsiva. Because again, like we said before, Rabbi Yehuda holds, only things that are done in the Kodesh Kodashim need to be done in order. Other parts of the Avodah and Yom Kippur, if it's done out of order, it's not a problem. So the Gemara says, no, afilu temer Rabbi Yehuda, you could even say Rabbi Chanina is following Rabbi Yehuda, tzorech pnim kipnim dami. Something that is done for what will be done in the Kodesh Kodashim is considered Kodesh Kodashim, meaning the shechit of the par. Why are you shechting the par? It's in order to get the blood, and the blood is going to be used in the Kodesh Kodashim. That's also considered Kodesh Kodashim, and therefore you do that part out of order, it's going to be a problem, even according to Rabbi Yehuda. And so the Gemara continues, Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, let's say the Kohen Gadol hasn't finished doing the matanos and the Kodesh Kodashim, and nishbach adam, and then the blood all spills out. So yavi dam acher v'yachzor v'yazeh b'tchila mivifnim. So the Kohen Gadol has to shech the par again, bring new blood. He has to start over all the sprinklings in the Kodesh Kodashim. So the Gemara now says, V'yemisa, if it's really true what Rabbi Yehuda says, that sorech pnim kipnim dami, so yachzor v'yachvon mi boile. He should actually have to do the handfuls of ketoras again as well. As Rashi over here says, Yavi dam acher v'yaschil, varikvar niktar ha-ketoras. Over here you have a situation where you already burned the ketoras, v'zeh shochet par, now this guy is going back again and shechting the par, so it's being done out of order. So you should have to do the handful of ketoras again. We'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Samech Aleph Amud Aleph.